Hey, my name is Sean. Welcome to Echoes in Eternity Bourbon. You ever felt like you've just been on this wild race? So, today I've got something new to try out. This is Pinhook. This is part of their Vertical Series. And what that means is that at one of my local stores, the bottle shop, they've got this thing set up with them where they've got all these barrels that they are aging from 5 year up to 12 years. It's the same juice. It just ages a year differently every time they release it. And so the deal is that they had to buy, every year they had to buy this barrel. But every year you get a barrel that's a little bit older juice from 5 up to 12 years. This is their 8-year juice. And so this one's coming in at what, 118.1 proof. There's 205 bottles made, and I've heard nothing but good stuff on this. Now with Pinhook, there's a couple of different things. When it's a small batch, it's a different distillate. But on this one right here in the Vertical Series, this is MGP Juice. So you got 8-year MGP Juice. And I learned some new things there when I was at the bottle shop. There's a gentleman there by the name of Harry, super knowledgeable, super nice guy. There's some great people out there. And so I was talking to him. He's like, "Do you even know what, do you know what Pinhook means?" I'm like, "No, I don't know what Pinhook means, And he's like, it's a term that they use in horse racing a lot of times, where you find something, a young foal or foal, before it's raced, and you basically buy it and you try to then sell it before it races to try to make basically a profit on it. It's playing the stock market, but with horses. So I had to look into that a little bit, and then it actually predated that. It was based on tobacco crops, that people would go to someone that was growing a crop and they'd say, "Hey, I'll buy this crop from you before it's even fully developed," on the hopes that when they got to that point, when it went to market, that crop would be worth even more. So pinhooking's the same thing except with horses. So it's neat. So they have the horse lineage there, and he was explaining to me that it was 3 guys that were really into horses that were sitting around talking one day and said, basically, let's start a bourbon company. And that's how Pinhook was the kind of the inception of it there. So looking forward to this. He was telling me last year's batch was really caramel forward. He said it was like, I think, a super butterscotchy type of flavor. So this one's a little bit different. Looking forward to it. I didn't have last year, so I'm interested in trying this year, see what it's all about. And of course, then there'll be 9, 10, 11, and 12. So I'm probably going to end up having to get another one of these bottles if I really like it, just so I can kind of collect up the rest of the series, because I'm kind of that way. I like to collect stuff. So let's get into this nose and see what we got today. First off the bat, this has got a really nice, deep, rich, reddish amber color to it, which I really like. It's showing that it's probably spent some time in that wood. And to me, when I see colors like this, I automatically, just mentally, I'm thinking this is going to have a lot of flavor. Oh, wow. I'm getting like a deep brown sugar on the nose. Getting some vanilla. This is like almost desserty. It's kind of a desserty type of nose to me too. So I'm getting some of the oak, getting some brown sugar, getting some vanilla going on. Almost a little bit of a maple type of note going on the nose too. Maybe a tiny bit of fig. Man, this thing's got some deep, really deep, rich, intense flavors, at least on the nose. Getting some great nosing on this. Almost like a sweet crust on it too. So a lot of neat things going on there. And the one thing that I was told on this is This is my first Glen on this, and I'm already at here. He did mention, he says, I'm not one in believing that too much in the neck pour, but I will tell you, after you get down to a certain point in this bottle, he said it really does open up, and you can tell the difference. So I gave a bunch of samples out already, and I haven't even tried it yet myself. Let's see what we got for a taste. Wow. That is very nice. Get intense sugars right off the bat on it, but I'm getting a little bit of a peppery wryness to it. I'll have to look to see what the mash bill is on this, but I kind of wasn't really expecting that too much. Getting a little bit of a butteriness to it as well. You know, I always try not to read anything before I get into something because I don't want it to influence the way that I taste things sometimes, or how I'm thinking it should taste. But someone did tell me, you know, Harry, when we were talking, it was like, this really reminds me of pecan pie. And now that I'm drinking this, I'm really getting the pecan pie type of thing going on. You know, I'm getting some of the brown sugars. I'm definitely getting some of the pecan on there. I'm getting some of like a little bit of the crust going on there. Even in the finish, it's kind of like I'm drinking a little bit of a pecan pie thing going on here. A lot of great oils on this too, just kind of sheening down the glass on this. Long legs, as people would say, very, very long legs on this. So it's very viscous. I get almost a refreshing, almost a little bit of the mint on the back of this too. So I'm getting a buttery quality, I'm getting that nice oak to it, getting that brown sugar to it, getting some pecan to it. I'm getting a little bit of peppery spice. So I'm wondering if this is kind of got a high rye to it. I don't know what the mash is on this, but I'm gonna have to ask about that or look into it, because I swear I'm getting some of the rye spice and a little bit of the mint on it too. So I'm wondering if this is a high rye. I'll have to look into that. So I wasn't really expecting that. I was expecting more decadent, but it's kind of got some of those flavors that I really like. It's got a very nice finish to it too. I would say it's a medium to medium long finish on this. So I'm getting a little bit longer finish than I expected on this. I get a tiny bit of like a milk chocolate on it too. So I'm getting a lot of good things on this. It's kind of a desserty bourbon for me, which I like. So I'm getting this super sweet, then I get a tiny bit of savory on the back, and then kind of a refreshing kiss of almost like a mint on the back of this. So a lot of great flavors going on with this. Man, I'm probably going to end up with another bottle of these. And these are, I think, somewhere around 90 bucks for these bottles here. And I'm sure that as they get higher up in the years, they'll get a little more price. Not too much, you know, you maybe $5 or $10 a bottle per year as they go up on those. But it's very nice. The more I chew on this a little bit, which just means I'm kind of enjoying the finish on this. It really does have some qualities that do remind me of a pecan pie. You got the butteriness, you got a little bit of the crustiness going on. I don't know if you've ever had the pecan pie where you had chocolate chips in it. but it would be like I just got like 1 or 2 tiny chocolate chips and a big old bite of pecan pie. Definitely liking this bottle. And there's just something about MGP Juice that I just tend to really like. And I think that they knocked this one out. I'm curious now on what char level this was. I'm going to have to ask that too, is what kind of char level did this have? Because I'm definitely getting some nice rich flavors coming off of this. Maybe a tiny bit of tobacco now as I'm getting a little bit of the finish. So some of the lighter type of notes I'm getting is a very light chocolate and a very light tobacco. So going back, Richard got me again there. So going back, the flavors that I'm getting off of this. On the nose, I'm getting some brown sugar, getting some vanilla, definitely getting the oak on there. On the palate, I'm getting, a little bit of a peppery rice spice type of thing with also some refreshing on the back, just a little bit of mint, but also getting some really nice, the pecan pie type of thing going on. So the pecan, the brown sugar, buttery crust type of thing going on with faint hints of chocolate. On the nose, I got a tiny bit of like a date, but I didn't really get that into the palate. But I did also get a tiny bit of a tobacco, but the predominant things on this is I got some really nice oak. I got some really nice brown sugar. I got really nice pecan on it. And then I also got a nice buttery quality. Very good mouthfeel, very viscous, medium to medium long finish on this. If you have the opportunity for one of the vertical series where they're using the MGP juice, at least this one that I've got is outstanding, and I'm definitely enjoying it. If you haven't had the opportunity or you're in this area, I would suggest checking out the bottle or find someone that's got a bottle like me and say, hey, let me try some of this. But the more I drink on this, the more I enjoy it because I'm finding different levels and layers of things. That all being said, Thursday night football's on right now. Enjoying that a little bit in the background. I'm ready for the weekend. Friday, this will be coming out. The weekend's upon us. I hope you and your family have a fantastic weekend upcoming. Hope you get some good football. If you're a football fan, fantasy football. If you're a football fan like me, my fantasy team won last week. Well, Auburn Tigers won last week. Dolphins won last week. Not very often I'm going to get the trifecta there, so I'm probably going to be limping into the weekend after having the trifecta this weekend. But I hope you and your family have an amazing day, have an amazing weekend, and God bless.